Okay, so here we go. Good evening and welcome to the Town Board of the Town of Ossining Legislative Session for October 27th, 2020. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Councilmember Feldman?
Present.
Councilmember Shaw?
Present.
Councilmember Meyer?
Present.
Councilmember Wiltshire?
Present.
Okay, Supervisor Levenberg?
Here I am. Thank you.
Welcome. Moving on to the public hearing, Local Law 3 of 2020 to amend Chapter 200 of the Town Code zoning to create beekeeping regulations in the town of Ossining.
Thank you very much. Tonight we are starting with two public hearings. The first is on our proposed legislation, as Martha Kudisaka just mentioned, to create beekeeping regulations in the town of Ossining. At our last work session, we heard from our building inspector, John Hamilton, who had a couple of questions and concerns about the legislation as currently drafted. This process has definitely called attention to the fact that none of us are experts in beekeeping. John's primary concern is based upon his ability to enforce the code without some regular guidance from a beekeeping expert. We employ a similar method when it comes to tree regulations, also because John does not feel that he is an expert at knowing if trees are healthy or not healthy. The town has contracted with a tree warden to weigh in on certain permit applications and complaints when they fall out of John's purview. Our planner, Valerie Monastra from Nelson Pope Voorhees, has been doing a lot of research and seems to be making some headway on this. So we hope to have Valerie and John back to a work session in November to further this discussion as we continue to refine the legislation. In the meantime, the draft local law has not changed since our last public hearing, pending further research. So with that, is there anybody here to address the board on this proposed legislation? And I hear none. So with that, I would ask if I could have a motion to adjourn the public hearing to our November 10th legislative session.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Before we get to the next public hearing, I just don't know if anybody else gets these little messages in the top of their screen, but mine keeps reminding me that tomorrow is Martha's birthday. So I want to wish Martha a happy birthday before I forget when I close that little button or hit snooze. If it doesn't come back up again, happy birthday, Martha.
Thank
tomorrow.
you. Thank
Happy
you.
birthday.
Thank you.
Okay, so next up we have Martha. You're up for the next public hearing.
Local Law 4 2020 to amend Chapter 136 of the Town Code to allow eating and drinking establishments that are issued a temporary outdoor dining permit to have tents and heaters.
Thank you so much. So as we're getting into the colder months, we're seeing that the needs of our local businesses in terms of our outdoor dining have changed. Outdoor dining is now less about enjoying your meals outdoors and more about expanding capacity to accommodate customers and support our restaurants at this difficult time. The local law we worked on this summer explicitly disallowed tents with sides and heaters, and we were very conscious about wanting to do that at the time, knowing that we really wanted to create outdoor spaces for eating. However, now we are seeing that many of our neighboring municipalities are allowing tents with sides and heaters as part of outdoor dining. So we don't want to put our businesses at a disadvantage of this winter if we can accomplish this safely. We think that it makes sense for us to facilitate this change for our businesses. Our building inspector, John Hamilton, joined us for our last work session discussion on this legislation, and he seems confident that he can work with our local businesses to ensure these changes are made safely. Council, Tom and Donna, do you have anything to add?
No, I think you pretty much covered it. The building inspector, Mr. Hamilton, did come to the work session. I know there were concerns among the board members initially when this was discussed about making sure it is done safely. The applicants will still have to comply with the Uniform Fire Prevention and Building Code. And John seems well equipped to handle the issues with the heaters and how those will be implemented. So it just basically is another mechanism to provide temporary opportunities for the public to dine in at least a socially distant place, as well as the local establishments. So I don't believe there's anyone here this evening to comment on this. So the board could leave the hearing open until your November 10th meeting, and I can prepare a resolution for that meeting, or if you want to close the public hearing tonight, it's really up to you.
I just polled the board if you'd rather leave it open for the next meeting, or, you know, so that we have the public hearing continued through the next meeting, or do we want to just close it tonight? Up to you, up to all of you. I will just go around and ask Councilwoman Shaw,
I'd rather leave it open.
Councilwoman Feldman,
Open.
Councilman Wiltshire.
What else do we have to discuss with it?
Just if we wanted to leave it open for public comment for one more public hearing, and then we we could close it at the next meeting, just in the, you know, in the event that this is the first time we're having it available at a public hearing.
Okay, then we leave it open.
Okay, and Councilman Meyer.
Close it, but I can now vote it.
Fair enough. You know, I think just because our meetings, you know, it's 7:37, so we've had, you know, the public hearing open for a couple of minutes. So I think it would be nice to just leave it open, even though, you know, it's been up on the agenda. Obviously, we'll just leave it open for one more meeting. I do want to make sure that our businesses have the opportunity to do this. Personally, I think that our building inspector has been looking the other way on some of these issues. I don't know if any of you had been dining at all in the town, but I have. And I think that there, you know, probably are some moments of people who are already implementing some of these things. So, so with that, I would ask if anybody has any other comments on this. I'll have an ask for a motion to adjourn the public hearing to our November 10th legislative session.
So moved.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. Next up, we have a departmental report from our Chief of Police, Kevin Sylvester. And I know we're looking ahead to Halloween this weekend, Chief. So anything exciting, safe, and fun lined up for the weekend, and or anything else you want to talk to us about tonight?
Good evening, everybody. So first on the bees, we do not have a bee unit, but fun fact, New York City Police Department, in fact, has an NYPD bee unit. They actually stopped by last week and brought us honey because they're friends of friends, and we saw their honey. It looked good. So they had recommended we put bees on our roof. We will not be doing that. The vegetable garden was more than we could handle this year. We're going to stop while we're ahead. Over the last quarter, things that police department's been up to, a lot of training going on at the OPD. We've completed CPR training. Last week, we had the International Association of Chiefs of Police annual conference, where this year being virtual, it was a good opportunity for many members of our staff to be able to sit in on training. So we covered topics like leadership, implicit bias, procedural justice, public relations, recruiting and hiring. And that was all my list for that one. This week, we are going through a full departmental second half firearms qualification. So busy day with lots of people in and out of headquarters for training this quarter. Going forward for Halloween this weekend, so this is hot off the press. We have not dropped this yet. It hasn't hit Facebook or the moms or anybody else, but we have a Halloween event. So here's the plan.
Wait, hold on. So we're the first to know here at the town board?
First to know.
Wow.
Right here, right now.
That's a first.
Breaking news.
Awesome.
Breaking news on a Tuesday night. Exciting stuff. Actually, this is really good, and I'm excited about this. We've been working on this for a couple of weeks, and you know, I've got flyers that they sent to me in the wrong format, so I couldn't put them out yet. But hopefully tomorrow morning we'll get the flyers out and tell everybody, here is the plan. Halloween this year being on a Saturday, and coincidentally a day that I have some extra staff working. Our staff has bugged me all summer long looking for the community engagement activities that they really love, and that really is sincere, that our officers really look forward to those days when they can get out and do stuff. We missed ice cream trucks this summer and block parties and movies and kickball. We did nothing. So quite frankly, it gets boring driving around 6 square miles with not a whole heck of a lot going on and not having a chance to do the fun stuff that we like that breaks up that period. So Saturday, with our extra staff during the day, kid friendly and socially distant, we are going to be driving around. Instead of you trick-or-treating, we will deliver the candy to you. So the police department, together with OVAC and sponsored by the Ossining PAL and the Elks Lodge, so Johnny G and crew, we will be driving around and we will bring the candy to you. So I believe our hours are going to be from 11 to 2, or they're saying 11 to 1, but I know that's going to run over because we don't finish anything on time when it comes to stuff with kids. We are going to be driving all over the town and village and delivering candy to kids. So we'll put out all the specifics on that tomorrow, including a route, so people know where to find us. And it's an opportunity for people to get outside, show off their costumes, get a little bit of that Halloween fun during the day. So it is good for the little ones. We don't have to keep them up late at night. And that's going to be our Halloween fun. I know I've heard of some other events that are going on. In my neighborhood, I think that some of the parents had organized a bit of a Halloween parade for the kids to sort of spread out and just march down the street, local kids. That said, we are encouraging everybody to continue to social distance and practice good personal hygiene. So masks and hand sanitizer and all that good stuff. I did hear from some people, both on social media and from the school district, that there were some rumors that some of the high school kids may be planning parties. Now that we've told their parents all about that, I'm thinking that may have been foiled. High school Kevin would be disappointed in adult Kevin. Nonetheless, safety first. So it's not that we necessarily want to kill the fun, but look, we all want to be able to get out of our houses at some point on a more regular basis, and sometimes that takes a little sacrifice. So we'll be out looking for people in gross violation of social distancing regulations, but the goal is to keep everybody happy and safe. So we're asking for voluntary compliance, and we'll do the best we can to keep everybody safe. So we don't really know what to expect for Saturday night. We will have extra officers on patrol. It has been a long time since Ossing's really seen any sort of mischief or trouble on Halloween and stuff like that. It's really been very low key here, but nonetheless, we do tend to see crowds in certain neighborhoods. So we'll be out looking for a lot of that, and hoping everybody does their best to stay safe and stay distant and protect each other. That's all for tonight. I'll take any questions if you've got them though.
Well, I mean, for people who are choosing to go trick-or-treating, do you have any advice for the people who are actually going to be delivering candy to those coming to their doors? What do you say?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to just go with the CDC because they're the experts, and we don't want to reinvent the wheel on this one. Generally what I've heard a lot of people doing to try and beat the system is, spend the night outside, put a table between them and anybody that's coming, pre-package things in bags so people are simply taking it away. I did hear one neighbor who was considering a 10-foot PVC pipe out the second floor window and sliding candy down into bags. We've seen some creative stuff starting to come up, but generally, I think the idea is that if you're entertaining the concept of handing out candy, it's a sort of an outdoor activity, and obviously we don't want people standing in our doorways for any period of time, but whatever you can do to sort of keep space between you and other people, and try not to overhandle other people's food objects, for sure.
Absolutely. And we like your skeleton in the background. Thank you for that. Other side. Yeah.
It's over there. We're in the spirit.
Awesome. Do my town board colleagues have questions for the chief?
Full moon, blue moon, Halloween on a time change day. Good luck.
With the time change, so we get to sleep in extra. It's such a waste of a good thing, a Saturday night with an extra hour sleep. This could really be a lot of fun, but look, we're hopeful that people can do things. I can only say in my neighborhood since April, we've had periodic stuff where people sort of sit in their front yards, and I know that Jermaine Smith and his ENU program had done like a whole block party on that theme where people stayed in their front yards and sort of socialized that way, distant from each other. So, hopefully people take up some of that stuff. We don't really coordinate those things, but we're always happy when we see them. Mm-hmm. It's one option for people.
And I know
this is a total waste of a perfect scheduling.
I know. There, I see that some of the Facebook pages, Ossining Moms, Positively Ossining, and Ossining Families, have a house decorating contest that if you go to Facebook, you can pick your favorite decorated house. A lot of people signed up and put pictures of their houses. So there are a lot of houses that are decorated for kids to go around and look at. Just another something that went on.
Yeah, I know that the big one in Ossining is Jenkins Court. The lights on Jenkins Court, they have always done Christmas. Now they do Halloween also. Jenkins Court has actually applied for exactly what we talked about, a socially distant neighborhood party. So Jenkins Court will be closed on Halloween, but so they're ending their light show the day before. But I know that they'd advertised through social media about the times and dates for those things. The only thing is anybody that may be going to Jenkins Court on any of the days leading up to Halloween, there was a request from one of the neighbors who felt that it was a little bit noisy. So we just asked that people be respectful of the neighbors if you're up there observing the show that they put on. But yeah, they've got a nightly show that goes on. I think it's on demand as cars pull up, or it's every so often periodic. But that's a great show for anybody that hasn't seen that.
Awesome. It's great that we have so many creative people in our community, and that so many have stepped up to be part of that contest. We've also been publicizing it weekly, just to let people know about it as well. So through the town updates and our Facebook page. So we thank you for making sure that everybody's safe in advance, and hope that we can watch your crew be happy for doing something positive, and for all the other events that they weren't able to participate in this year. So thanks for that.
Yeah, so the schedule information for that will probably be tomorrow. We'll drop the flyer, and then today's Tuesday, so tomorrow we'll drop the flyer. Thursday will be the schedule will come out. Friday will be the reminder, and then Saturday will likely be live most of the day so people can understand where we are, because schedules are meant to be broken. So
awesome. All right, well, if you can share it with us so we can also share it with our,
absolutely, we'll put everything out.
Awesome. Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Chief. And unless any of my board colleagues have any other questions for the Chief, we will say thank you.
All right.
All right.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank you, and good night.
So next up, we have a few announcements before we get started on our agenda. On Friday last week, the Ossining Community Equity Task Force released our equity survey. The survey will be open to all Town of Ossining residents. That means you too, if you live in the Village of Ossining or Village of Briarcliff, until November 13th. The result of this survey will be used to direct the task force's goals and actions. Your input is crucial to getting an accurate understanding of our community's perspective. The link to the survey was shared out in my Friday supervisor's update and will be available in this week's update as well. If you are not subscribed to my email list, you can easily sign up on the Town of Ossining website or by emailing me directly and asking to be added. My email address is dlevenberg@townofossining.com. You can also email me to request hard copies for yourself or for distribution through a business or organization. So please feel free to share it widely with your Ossining circles. We're going to continue sharing the survey through our Facebook and Instagram accounts as well until the survey closes. Please take a few minutes, it's not a very long survey, to share your voice on this important topic. Speaking of sharing your voice, the general election is underway in New York. Early voting started this past Saturday. I voted yesterday. I have my I voted sticker. I'm very excited about it. Can you see it? I voted at the Ossining Community Center at 95 Broadway. I was very proud to see so many people who waited for a long time. I think I waited about 2 hours. The early voting schedule is dependent on the day, with the polls opening early Sundays and staying open later on others. And we just got word in within the last couple of hours that the hours have changed. In fact, even tonight, you can now vote tonight until 9 p.m. So the Board of Elections released this very late this afternoon. I think we heard about it at about, 6 o'clock or so from County Legislator Borgia. And we got the information that polls are open till 9 tonight, as I mentioned, from Wednesday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., Thursday from 12 to 9 p.m., Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and then Saturday and Sunday from 12 to 6 p.m. at all of the 17 early voting locations except for Mount Kisco Memorial Complex, because they have a Halloween event that night, so they're only open from 11 to 4 p.m. But if you're planning to come to and vote in Ossining, that will also be open till 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday, just to remind everybody. And then the early voting will close, and then the regular polls are open on Tuesday, Election Day, for in-person voting from 6 to 9 p.m. So let me just double check where I left off, because I know that that changed from earlier today. And as you know, Election Day is 1 week away. So please do make sure, if you haven't already, to make a voting plan, especially because we know the lines have been awfully long. We're very grateful that the Board of Elections decided to extend the hours to make it a little bit easier, certainly for people who are working, but also just in case, hopefully that will alleviate the pressure a little bit and the lines won't be so long. So if you do plan to vote early, and we have been seeing these long lines, please do come having eaten. Bring some water with you, or bring a snack. Bring proper outerwear for the day's weather, and a chair possibly that you would like to walk along with you on the line. If you are somebody who might need a little extra help and can't find themselves standing for a couple hours, they are letting seniors, especially in Austin, go to the side door or the exit door, and one of the poll workers will let you in if you need extra help. We did have a few people who did need some extra help on the day that I was voting, and we made sure that happened. So if you plan to vote using an absentee ballot, you can bring that absentee ballot in to an early voting site and skip the lines. You can also bring it in on Election Day and skip the line. You just go to the front and let them know that you're dropping off an absentee ballot, and there's a special receptacle for those. And you can do that at any of the 17 early voting locations throughout Westchester. In Austin, it's just the community center. If you plan to wait to vote in person on Election Day, make sure you know where your 2020 polling place will be, because some of them have changed. So if you were, especially at the firehouses or at OVAC, any place where we had emergency service workers, those are not polling places anymore. They actually even changed a couple of them once and then changed it again. You should have received a postcard in the mail, but you can also go to the online website from the county, which I don't have right in front of me tonight, but I think you can also find information on vote411.org, and it'll take you to the Westchester County Board of Elections website.
Also, nursing homes. Nobody is going to be voting at a nursing home. And if anybody has questions, they can always call up the clerk's office, and we can double check where you're going to be polling at. We've had already a couple dozen people call us, and we triple check for them so they can be secure.
Awesome. Thanks, Martha. And just the phone number for your office directly is?
914-762-8428.
Fantastic. Thank you for that information. And so, as I said, just figure out the details of your plan in advance, because that'll save you time and energy later. While you're prepping, make sure you know who is on your ballot. The presidential election may be in the spotlight, but there are a lot of other influential positions down ballot that are also waiting for your vote. So as I mentioned, you can go to vote411.org to learn more about all the candidates and their positions. So that's it about voting for now, unless, Martha, did you have anything else that you wanted to add?
No, that's pretty much it. We're very glad. We see from outside our window, we see all the people lining up for early voting. So thank you to everybody that has voted so far. And again, if just anybody has questions or any concerns, we're always happy to help at the clerk's office answering anything, especially when it comes to absentee ballots. We had a lot of people asking where to drop them off, and yeah, anything and everything, we're here.
Okay, thank you so much.
There wasn't a little table right to the side of the door to go into the community center accepting the absentee ballots. You didn't have to wait in line, and you could just walk right up and drop it. So I thought that was nice.
Okay,
Yeah.
that must have been new, because I didn't see that table yesterday when I was there. So that's great. I do want to take a moment to thank all of the wonderful volunteers who came out to help cut and clear vines from our trees in Ryder Park this past Saturday, and to Karina from my office for helping make flyers and publicize and pull it all together. The Protect Our Park Trees effort was a success. Our parks foreman, Mario Villardo, and his team member Albin were very helpful that day as well, and really made a huge dent in some of the invasives that were choking back some of the trees that protect our tributaries and also our pond that's back there. They've been making a lot of headway, and they were actually at Sally Swope Park this week, but there's a lot of park space to maintain, and our parks guys can't really do it all by themselves. We know lots of other communities also have volunteer groups to help out, especially with some of these trickier areas in our parks. So we're very appreciative that we had a new group of helpers help us and also step up to help in the future at some future events. So we'll have more information for you on that in the not too distant future, we hope. So if you do want to participate in future events like this and didn't get the information and would like to know how, please give our office a call at 914-762-6001. Everybody practiced very safe COVID-related skills and wore their masks and kept their distance. We had hand sanitizer and everything else available. Later this week, we will be filing the tentative budget for 2021 with the town clerk. State law requires that we file by Friday, but we are hoping to get the official binder stamped by our town clerk sometime before then. As soon as the tentative budget is filed with the clerk, it will also be posted online for anyone to take a look. If you'd prefer to read a hard copy, a copy will be available both in the clerk's office and at the Ossining Public Library. I am very proud to report that as the budget stands now, we are looking at a tax rate percentage decrease in all but one fund, and then the percentage increase is less than 0.1%. However, we are cautiously optimistic about these budget numbers, bearing in mind that due to the COVID-19 pandemic, there is still a lot of uncertainty in terms of future revenue shortfalls and potential for increased costs. I'm grateful to all town department heads for their measured budget requests this year. Here in the town, we're a great team, and budget season is one of those times when it is so clear. Huge thanks to our Comptroller, Dale Brennan, Deputy Comptroller, Liz Nakari, and Budget Officer, Victoria Caffarelli, for shepherding us through the first round of our budgeting process. Now the town board will join us for the next round of budget meetings to carefully review each department's budget in work sessions scheduled in early November. These meetings are open to the public and will be held via Zoom. The dates and times for the meetings are Wednesday, November 4th at 11 a.m., Friday, November 6th from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We will break for lunch, and Tuesday, November 10th at 5:30 p.m. We will post the Zoom access information on our website for those who would like to attend to view our discussion. At our November 17th work session, Victoria will deliver a presentation summarizing the highlights of our 2021 budget, and our public hearing on the 2021 budget will be held at our November 24th legislative session. Before I close out my announcements, I wanted to remind everyone that coronavirus cases in New York and here in Westchester are starting to tick up. There are a lot of overlapping factors that are causing a rise in cases. For one, with schools open again, parents are back in the office more frequently. The colder weather has driven people indoors and closed doors and windows behind them. Soon, we will see students who went away to college returning for the holidays. It's important to remember that November will be our 9th month of this crisis, and we cannot let our guard down. I know it is exhausting to think about, but we must continue to wear our masks, wash our hands, and avoid touching our faces. Now is also the time to get your flu shot to protect yourself against getting sick with the flu and potentially overloading our already burdened healthcare system. Town staff received free flu shots last week, and I got mine too. It hurts a little bit for a few days. I think it finally stopped now, but it's really not too bad, I promise. Thanks to Phelps Hospital for working with the town and village this year to offer flu vaccines to our staff. This is a second wave for New York, but we have flattened the curve before, and we need to work hard now to avoid a larger wave over the winter. As we gear up for Halloween festivities, which we just talked a little bit about with the chief, I urge you to bear in mind COVID precautions and do whatever you can to limit your family's risk this weekend. Review the CDC guidelines, and we also will be posting the county and state guidelines for a safe Halloween this weekend. Consider holding a trick-or-treat scavenger hunt in your own house with your immediate family for a fun way to recreate some of what we all love about Halloween, and I think that's just eating candy. A bonus for when you come across any undiscovered treats a few weeks from now is that you would probably use a little sweet pick-me-up whenever you happen to find something. Do any of my board colleagues have any other announcements? Okay, so with that, I think we're moving into our liaison reports. Are there any liaison reports? Okay.
Well, I would like to congratulate the OVAC on a successful blood drive
Okay, that's great.
the other day.
Fantastic. Thank you for that. And are there any other liaison reports? Okay. Hearing none, we will ask for public comment on any of our agenda items. And hearing and seeing none, we can move right into our board resolutions. Martha, back to you.
Okay. Approval of minutes, special meeting, October 6, 2020. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin hereby approves the October 6, 2020 minutes of the special meeting as presented.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed?
Okay. Approval of minutes, regular meeting, October 13th, 2020. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin hereby approves the October 13th, 2020 minutes of the regular meeting as presented.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Okay. Approval of minutes, special meeting, October 20th, 2020. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin hereby approves the October 20, 2020 minutes of the special meeting as presented.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anybody opposed?
Approval of amended minutes, regular meetings. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin hereby approves the following amended regular meetings as presented: July 14th, 2020, August 25th, 2020, September 8th, 2020, and September 22nd, 2020.
Do I have a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
So these sets of minutes were already approved by the town board, but our clerk's office noticed a very small copy and paste error that needed to be corrected. So thanks to the eagle eye of our deputy clerk, Martha Kudisaka, for catching this small error so that we could correct that tonight. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed?
Approval of voucher detail report. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin hereby approves the voucher detail report dated October 27th, 2020 in the amount of $521,159.30.
Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Did you have something to say?
Just the bulk of this went to an IMA. The IMA is with the village, and that's why it's so high. But yeah.
Correct.
All right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed?
Approval of shared service agreement, Sustainable Westchester. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin authorizes the supervisor to sign an amendment and renewal of the shared service agreement with Sustainable Westchester dated October 30th, 2018 for waste and recycling communications platform to extend the contract term to 3 years, starting November 5th, 2020 and ending November 5th, 2023, and adjusted the annual fee from $1,700 to $2,700, subject to approval by council to the town as to form.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So this is an extension to a contract that the town already has with Sustainable Westchester for Sustainable Westchester to administer the shared recollect or recycle right app, which provides residents a personalized garbage and recycling schedule for easy use. Additionally, it contains a wealth of information in the Recyclopedia, which will help you determine how best to recycle some less common household items, from leftover string lights from last holiday season to antifreeze. The price will increase in this contract term, but we continue to receive the service at a greatly reduced rate. I know that other municipalities were paying as much as $12,000 by working with Sustainable Westchester, and also through a grant we received. I think we approved last week that Tarrytown or last legislative meeting that Tarrytown was going to apply for that again. So this resource has been a huge help to our residents as well as to our staff. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed?
I have a question.
Okie doke.
What, it was last year, 1,700, this year is 27, what, it go up 1,000 a year?
No, it's not going to go. No, this is for the next, I think the next couple years. I think it's a 3-year contract. And the reason that it went up is basically that they had reduced the rate so much from what they needed to cover the cost of support to the communities that they really weren't able to continue to provide the support unless they raised it. So as I mentioned, if you were to purchase this app directly, I had heard at one point that apps like this were, I don't know, between maybe $10,000 and $12,000 per community. But when Sustainable Westchester was able to apply for a grant, using multiple communities as well as, put it all together and bundle it up for multiple communities, they were able to offer it for a much reduced cost, but they really had underpriced it from the beginning and weren't able to continue to offer that very much reduced price. So that's what I don't think there's going to be any kind of adjustment like that again in the future,
Okay,
as I understand it.
okay.
All right. So, and it does save us money in printing and postage costs. We're still sending out a little trifold, but we're not sending out the big 6-page oversized mailing that we used to send out every year, because you can get all that information now online and you can just type in your address and it tells you what your schedule is. You can even have the app give you an alert to tell you when, what's being picked up on which day. So it offers a lot of possibilities. And again, it tells you how you can recycle all different kinds of stuff, even if it's not, the recycling itself isn't necessarily available in the town. It can tell you what you can do with different kinds of materials. So it's part of the whole purpose of it is to get more people to be able to reuse, reduce, and recycle, and take the burden off of both the taxpayers for paying for the dumping fees as well as the environment. Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Thank you.
Appointment seasonal laborer. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austining appoints Nicholas Ferrero Austining to the seasonal position of laborer in the town highway department at an hourly rate of $13 effective October 26, 2020.
Do I have a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
So you may have seen that our highway department is gearing up for leaf season this week, as yesterday we brought on our 2 seasonal employees, Nicholas Ferreo and Christopher Sanchez, to assist with the big task of removing leaves at the curb around the town. So hopefully you're all going to vote in favor of this. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Thanks.
Appointment seasonal laborer. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austining appoints Christopher Sanchez Austining to the seasonal position of laborer in the town highway department at an hourly rate of $13 per hour effective October 26, 2020.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Good news for our highway crew. They're going to have some helping hands.
Resignation. Zoning Board of Appeals. Be it resolved, the town board hereby accepts with regret the resignation of David Whitlinger from the Zoning Board of Appeals effective October 21st, 2020.
Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
We received word last week that one of the members of our ZBA or Zoning Board of Appeals, Dave Whitlinger, had moved out of the town of Austining and can therefore no longer serve in this volunteer capacity. We thank Dave for his service to the town of Austining and wish him and his family well on their next chapter. We are grateful to our Zoning Board of Appeals alternate member, Tom Wills, for already being willing to unofficially step into this vacated seat until another appointment can be made. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed?
Adoption of Town of Austining Computer System Security Breach Notification Policy. Whereas Section 20810 of the State Technology Law requires the town to adopt a computer system breach notification policy, which policy is intended to establish procedures to follow in the event a person has accessed and or acquired without valid authorization private information of individuals from the records of the town of Austin, and to alert such individuals to any potential identity theft as quickly as possible so that the individuals may take appropriate steps to protect themselves from and remedy any impacts of the potential identity theft or security breach. And whereas the state technology law authorizes the town to adopt the breach notification policy as either a town-approved policy or by local law, and now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Austin adopts the computer system security breach notification policy published below, and that a copy of the policy shall be posted on the town's webpage with copies made available in the offices of the town department.
Okay, and it's published below, and it'll be posted on our website, and I'm sure that you can find a copy in lots of other places as well. Councilor O'Donnell, is there anything else you wanted to add to where we can find all the details of this?
No, it should also be available in the clerk's office.
Okay, so the Village of Austin brought this to our, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
The Village of Austin brought this to our attention that apparently state law has required municipalities to adopt a cybersecurity breach policy for some time now, but neither of the village nor the town ever got around to doing so. So we want to thank our Village Corporation Counsel, Stuart Kahan, for his research and the model policy, which we would like very much to borrow. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? And thank you, Stuart Kahan.
Request for bids, furnish and install new emergency generators at Parker Bale and North State Road pump stations. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin authorizes the town clerk to advertise a request for bids to furnish and install new emergency generators at Park Bale and North State Road pump stations. Bids shall be submitted no later than 10 a.m. on Friday, November 20th, 2020 to the office of the town clerk.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So as we have discussed in the past, 2 of our sewer lift stations are in dire need of a generator replacement. So with the guidance of Water Superintendent Andy Teese and Highway Superintendent Pete Connolly, we engaged an engineering firm to develop bid specifications for the town to seek competitive bids for this large project. We bonded for the funds already, so we are ready to get this much needed project going. And that is what we're seeking approval for tonight, is to go out to bid. Discussion, questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Anybody opposed?
Okay. Personnel, reclassification of title, Highway Department. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin hereby reclassifies the title of Gary L. Cesare, Sr. from automotive mechanic to lead maintenance mechanic, automotive, effective October 28, 2020, and be it further resolved that Mr. Cicere's salary remains at $90,727 for the remainder of 2020.
Do I have a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved. Second.
We are very excited to be able to reclassify the title of our auto mechanic, Gary Cesare, to lead auto mechanic. Gary has been working for the town for over 15 years and is definitely deserving of this title bump. Congratulations, Gary. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed? Awesome.
Correspondence to be received and filed. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin hereby accepts the following correspondence. Town Planning Board minutes, October 7th, 2020.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? All right, so with that, we are up to a visitor recognition on anything whatsoever. Is there anybody here to address the board? Okay, and hearing and seeing none, I would ask for a motion to adjourn into executive session for personnel, advice of counsel, and contracts.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, so as I previously mentioned, next week, Tuesday, November 3rd, is Election Day. Additionally, Wednesday is a town planning board meeting, which created a conflict for our town council and planner. So we moved our next meeting to Thursday, November 5th. And again, if you would like to view the work session discussions on the 2021 budget, they are starting next Wednesday, November 4th, via Zoom and the links will be posted on the town's website later this week. As a reminder, you can always view past board meetings on the Town of Austin YouTube page or our Facebook page. We also anticipate that Governor Cuomo will renew the executive orders allowing us to continue our proceedings virtually sometime next week. Also, please save the date, Thursday, November 19th, for our first public workshop on the comprehensive plan. The town is embarking on this process to help guide the town in future planning and sustainable development. Over the course of 2020 and 2021, we intend to bring together neighbors, workers, business owners, and the town's various boards and committees through public workshops and events to identify priorities, goals, and strategies that will shape the town of Austin over the coming decades and beyond. At this first workshop to be held via Zoom, there will be discussions asking questions such as, why do you love living in Austin? What makes our community so great? How do we become a more sustainable community? How did COVID change the way we live in our community? And much, much more. I know that there are some who are concerned that holding this process at this time may be difficult for widespread community engagement. However, we are working closely with Pace Land Use Law Center, experts in our region on and in public engagement, and based upon their experience in other communities going through similar processes this year, virtual opportunities are actually bringing higher attendance than traditional in-person meetings. Our comp plan steering committee was also selected to ensure that we have arms out into the community, and one of the main tasks of this group is to help bring neighbors and interest groups into the process, as well as share back out with them. We think we have some excellent coverage of the multiple neighborhoods in the town, plus business owners, condominium owners, and more. Additionally, we will be sharing information with the schools, the libraries, and other important stakeholder groups to ask that they also relay information about the comprehensive plan meetings and information sessions with their lists. That being said, this process will be quite lengthy, and hopefully we will also be able to hold more traditional events in the coming months that many of our residents are more familiar with. Rest assured, we want to hear your voice in this process, and we will do whatever we can to facilitate as much participation as possible. The best way we can make sure as many voices are heard is to share with friends, family, and neighbors and ask them to join us on Thursday, November 19th to start at our first public session. The more the merrier, so share it and let everybody know. Have a great night, everyone. Remember to vote. The polls are still open until 9 p.m. tonight. We will see you next Thursday.